There's an alert that's been sounded for bird flu in many states across the country, and authorities hence have started culling thousands of birds to contain this outbreak. Now, according to a WHO report, the death rate among people infected with H5N1 goes up to 60%. And in this video, I'm going to give you some do's and don'ts that will help you in staying safe during this bird flu outbreak. Number 1, avoid contact with birds. At this point, we should avoid any direct contact with birds. Now, as per experts, the chance of infection into humans from birds increases greatly, and that's why it's important to remain alert at all times. Now, this disease can infect humans from any secretion of birds. That means from bird droppings, from the nose and mouth area of the bird, and that's why it's important that we don't directly come in contact. Second is cleanliness. Now, in your house, ensure that you clean all your railings. If you have a cage on top of your roof, ensure you clean that of any bird droppings. Now, when you're doing that as well, when you're removing bird feces or feathers, be very careful. Avoid touching any birds with your hands. Keep a certain distance, and that's because the infection from the bird can spread for about 10 days. Once the bird is carrying the infection, it can spread. It's contagious for about 10 days, and that's why we have to be very, very careful. As I mentioned earlier, the infection can spread from bird droppings, from saliva, from the nose or mouth. The third step, do not touch raw meat. When you're buying chicken from a shop, ensure that you're wearing gloves, ensure you're wearing a mask. Now, you can get the infection from raw meat. That's why this point I'm making is very, very important. Also, this particular infection, the bird flu, can spread from surfaces. So when you visit a poultry shop or any such area where there's a greater chance of this infection, of this virus being present, do not touch surfaces. This is something we're already doing because of coronavirus. Ensure you keep this in mind again. The fourth step you have to keep in mind is to cook well and eat. Any meat that you're consuming right now must be thoroughly cooked. Experts have said that there's no need to completely stop consuming chicken or eggs, but you have to ensure that you completely cook it through. Half cooked or semi-cooked is not good enough. Ensure it's completely boiled and cooked all the way through before you consume it, because at this kind of temperatures, at very high temperatures, the virus then dies, which means that it is okay for you to eat. Now, another step you must keep in mind is to keep raw and cooked meat separately. When you're storing things in your refrigerator, keep the meat separately, because don't let it mix with other food items, because then the virus can spread to those items. And if you're being careless and eating, for example, fresh vegetables which was stored with the meat, there's a chance that you could catch the infection. So if you're storing raw meat, ensure you keep it completely separately so there's no chance of the infection spreading. Is use different utensils for different meat. So if you're using cooked meat, keep the utensils separate, and for raw meat, a separate utensil. And the most important step of them all, do not touch dead birds. Many reports of birds falling dead at parks, at public places. If you see a dead bird, do not go touch it or try to revive it. Call the authorities immediately so that they can do the necessary steps of identifying if it is a death due to bird flu, and then conduct the necessary steps. Now, the symptoms of bird flu are very, very similar to a normal flu, which is why it's very important. Symptoms of the H5N1 flu include cough, cold, also there's muscle pain, throat soreness, diarrhea, among many other symptoms. Ensure that all the steps I mentioned is something that you follow in your daily life to remain safe from bird flu. So far, there have been no instances of humans contracting bird flu in India during this particular outbreak. Let's ensure we keep it that way.